Hi, my name is Jonathan Dehaan, and I'm a professor at the University of Shizuoka and the co-editor of Ludic Language Pedagogy. And earlier this year, I came up with and wrote and published this little paper called 10 Great Classroom Activities That Language Teachers Can Do with Games, in addition to helping students speak while playing. If you're interested in the paper, it's really short, it's just a couple pages long, and you can check it out at this URL. When I wrote up the paper, I was thinking about what I and other teachers did with games. And I've got a lot of experience using a variety of games, and I know that other teachers are using games. And I'm sure that a lot of teachers present some vocabulary or grammar first, and then maybe practice it a little bit with some drills, and then have students produce language while playing a game. And I think that's great. I think that's a really good way for students to practice language. But I thought of some other activities that I and other teachers I know are doing with games sort of before, during, and after games. And I just wanted to suggest those a little bit in this presentation. These activities are really easy and they can be done with really any type of game, whether it's some sort of traditional game like kids running around in a park, commercial games, educational games, video games, tabletop games, speaking games. Really, you can do these with any type of game. I'm going to talk about some activities before, during, and after the game. And for each of these activities, I'm going to talk about the activity. I'm going to give you some things that you can say to students. And I'm going to show also some free materials that you can use. So again, these are all available in the article. The first thing is really to help students choose games, right? There are so many different games that can be educational or useful to different people. Students can really learn to take control of their learning by choosing what games to play and discuss and work with. And students can also start to invest more in games and language learning if they're given more responsibilities from the beginning. Help them choose the games that they're going to play. You can say to students like, "Who do you want to be in the future? Oh, you want to be a banker? Sure, we'll play some games about money. Or you want to be a teacher? Let's look at some really interesting educational games." In order to do that, right, you can ask them like, "What do you need to know to do that? Which of these games could help? Why do you prefer this game? What makes you like it?" Right? Asking students who they want to be and what games might be useful to them gets more buy-in and makes the learning more relevant to them as well. So those are some things that you can say. You can use all these free materials. They're in the article again. I use a worksheet to help students connect with games and goals, and then I've got a list of games that I use. The Learning, Education, and Games books are fantastic. That you can look up like 300 games by keywords. They're totally free to download. And there's this YouTube channel, Real English for Gamers, describes the gameplay and language in many popular online video games. Here's another one. Here's another activity. Watch YouTube videos of other people playing the game. Games are hard to teach and learn and play, especially in the second language. And watching how the game is played can help new players get a sense of the game. Language learners can also take some notes on useful language that they hear to use when they try the game. So things that you can say, right? "Let's watch this video together." Or, "When you don't understand something, raise your hand and I'll help you," right? And then you can pause the video and you can help them understand what was said in the actual play. James York's Quotable Rollers curriculum has a note sheet to help students notice new vocabulary in gameplay videos. And Real English for Gamers YouTube channel has hundreds of gameplay videos. You can also ask students to plan how to play, right? Even before they play the game, you can ask them to plan. Games have choices and consequences. That's what makes them interesting. Even though students haven't played yet, they can predict, right, either in their first language or second language, what might happen, what actions they're going to take in the game, and what language they want to try to use. Have them plan, right? And again, with any game, right? Even something from rock, paper, scissors to anything, you can ask them to plan. How will you play this game? What will you do first? What do you think will be the most important, right? So those are some things that you can say. As an example, one of my thesis students taught some really simple board games in her thesis project, and she asked some really simple questions to get her students thinking about strategies before and after each game. So some free things that you can use. So that's before the game, right? Help them choose games, watch YouTube videos, plan how to play. Okay. Next, during the game. Again, so before the game, during the game, after the game. The first activity during the game, so direct students' attentions to aspects of the game and language. You're the teacher, you know the games, you know the language, you're an expert. You can point things out to students, right? Direct their attention. It's hard for students to notice things while playing a game. If you can highlight things without breaking up gameplay, I mean, some games really are complicated and it's hard to step in, but if you can highlight things, it can lead to better understanding. It can also help in a discussion and other work after the game, right? So point things out. You can say to students, what just happened there? Wow, do you see what I see? Right, on a screen or in a particularly interesting card play. What did you just say? What did she say? What did he say? Right? You can say these things to students to direct their attention. Um, Use the blackboard, the whiteboard, a piece of paper, a digital document. Use your cell phone camera, right? To take public notes, things you notice and things students tell you. Direct students' attention. Have students play in pairs. This is something I found kind of early on when using games in the classroom, especially video games. So many games can be paused or played in turns, and you can have students play these in pairs. They should either discuss each move before making it, or one can tell the other one what to do. They'll use complex language to explain their ideas and rationales, right? So you can have them work first and then make the move. Something you can say to them, right? Work as a team. Before you make a move, decide together. Person A, you decide, and you tell B what to do. This will work with any game as well, right? Try having them play tic-tac-toe in a team, right? Well, I think that you should put an X in the top right corner. That's a lot more language than just, of course, just marking an X on the page. This website and James York's sheet has useful classroom language for playing games. This forum post has some commonly used language. And again, Real English for Gamers has a lot of useful language as well. Have students play in pairs. Next, have them collect gameplay data. Again, if it won't break up gameplay, have students collect information and language during the game. Tell them that they're going to be researchers, right? They might write down scores or game moves, things that their team or the other team says, take photos, audio, video with their smartphones, have them collect game data, right? You can tell them this, right? The more information we have, the more we can do later, which is completely true. What data do you think we should collect when we play tic-tac-toe or Uno or Monopoly or Diplomacy, right? I use a sheet to help my students think about what data to collect and also to organize it after we play. And then Real English for Gamers shows learners how to hunt for useful language in gameplay videos. I have my students use that data, and then they also complete this discussion worksheet after their game. So again, during the game, there are things that you can do. You can direct their attention, you can have them play in pairs, and you can have them collect game data while they play. Okay, last, after the game. So again, before, during, and after the game. So after the game, transcribe and improve. Transcribe means writing down, right? What they said. So it's really natural for students to make mistakes the first time they play a game. And it's natural for students to use their first language when playing with speakers of the same language. If you've got a bunch of Spanish speakers in a French class, they might use Spanish when they're speaking, right? It's really natural and it's really okay. If students record, for example, audio or video using a smartphone, you can assign transcribing. Write everything, mistakes, first language, second language, everything. Ahs, right? Everything, their language. And then work with them to correct their mistakes and to translate their first language into the second language, and then play again using the corrected scripts, right? Transcribe and improve. This is probably one of the simplest, in a way, and most effective things you can do to help students improve their language during gameplay. You can say this to students: your recording is very useful. It's okay if you made mistakes or spoke your first language. I'll help you fix those mistakes, and I'll help you learn what you wanted to say. Let's do a mini project. These are some things that you can say. Again, James York's Kodaba Rollers curriculum has the perfect sequence of materials that guides learners through transcribing, evaluating, correcting mistakes, extra language study, and play analysis. This is phenomenal, right? It's all there for the taking. After the game, talk about it, right? Discussing a game requires that students use specialized terms and more precise language than the language often used during a game. Discussing a game can also help students remember and understand the game better, and can help them play better in a subsequent attempt, and also prepare them for later activities and projects. Don't just play the game. Take time to talk about it. This is what people do, right? If you play games with your family, you don't just, as soon as you put the game away, just go and do something else, right? You spend some time talking about it, especially if it was interesting, right? And worthwhile. How was the game? Oh, good. Why, right? Why did you like it? Why did you win or lose, right? Did your plans work? Why not? What would you do next time to try to win? So again, I have students work together to write the answers on that discussion sheet, right? If I have a really small group of students, of course I can just ask them, but in a bigger class, I really use the discussion worksheet and then I read those. There's a bunch of great discussion or debriefing questions and some links. Two more things. This one, play it again. This is also like one of the best and easiest things you can do. Students are still learning the game the first time they play, and this could be anything, right? Two truths and a lie, 20 questions, tic-tac-toe, diplomacy, civilization. Like, play it again. By playing again, they can be deliberate about game and language choices. Okay, so you can say this. Okay, now that you know how to play, let's play again. Try to play better. Try to use language more carefully. And this is one of the simplest activities in terms of materials too. You don't even need a worksheet. Just ask the students to answer the following questions on a scrap piece of paper, right? Rate your gameplay, rate your language use, and then do it after the first play and after the second play too. Last, right? Study the language in games deeply. Games are full of language, right? The rules, online reviews, tweets, everything like cards. Games are full of language. So after students have an amazing experience with the game that you've chosen for them, you can help them to understand the new vocabulary, grammar, or texts more deeply. So you can say like, you used a lot of language, didn't you? You read a lot of language. You spoke a lot of language. This worksheet will help you understand and remember it. And here are some worksheets. One is about vocabulary and grammar, and here's another worksheet, more of a textual analysis sheet that asks all students a lot of great questions to have them think about the vocabulary, organization, author, audience, and style. The questions are really simple, but they require thinking and really careful answers, giving details and examples for what they say. So that's after the game. Again, so before the game, during the game, and after the game, here are 10 great classroom activities that you can do immediately with games, in addition, just to helping students speak while playing. So do you have some activities that you'd like to share? I'm sure there are more things that we can do with, before, during, and after games. If you've got some activities that you do around games, please do check out our website. So llpjournal.org. Here's our Twitter. We would love to work with you to help you publish your ideas as well. So if you've got any questions or comments, please get in touch. Okay. Thank you very much.